Gончаренko is a member of Ukrainian Parliament and member of Budget Committee, and for already more than 5 years, he's a representative of Ukraine in Parliamentary Assembly of Council of Europe, mostly speaking and participating in representation of Ukrainian interests outside the world. He just had to travel to Washington, meeting with the US government. We will be speaking today about the place of this enigmatic Ukraine for the last 8 years, percolating in everybody's mind. And with no longer ado, Alexei, floor is yours. Floor, not screen. Please and welcome, and we are happy to have you here.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here, and thanks for a great opportunity to meet with you and to visit one of the most famous universities in the world, and I'm really proud to be here. Today I want to speak, and first of all, I would like to say that I'm happy to see so many people, and really I appreciate that you found time. Maybe I understand that maybe it's because you just want more in-person contact after a year and a half, and that's not about me, but maybe it's because of Ukraine. I want to think so, that you have an interest in our country, and I want you at the end of our meeting to say yes. It's really interesting country, and I have not mistaken. Let me know more about Ukraine, and watch what's going on in this country. Certainly, I understand that part of you are Ukrainians, and that's why you're interested in. But in any case, I think that's important that we're speaking now. I usually say, in our country we say that some people have a light hand and some heavy hand. When something started, when people with a light hand, everything will go on and it will be nice. So I hope that and I know that I have a light hand, so it means that we'll have more in-person meetings with very interesting people and no restrictions. We all are willing this, and I believe that will be so. So I want to speak about my home country, about Ukraine, and you are prepared auditory, so I will not tell you that it is situated between this and the population is this. I'm not Wikipedia, and just want to tell you that when I'm speaking about Ukraine, I like the joke of John Oliver, a comedian, who said that speaking about Ukraine and this nation is like appendix or Grandma Mimi, you hear about only when something horrible is going on. And unfortunately, that's a joke that it is, but this joke is not very pleasant for my country. And it means that for West, Ukraine is still a problem, not a solution. And really, we have had a lot of problems in the past, and we have many challenges now. But I believe that Ukraine is a solution. That's why we have the name of our public talk today. My public talk is a problem or a solution, and I want to show you that it's not only a problem, but it is a solution. And why you will see now. So, Ukraine. Really, what's extremely important is that, one second, now we'll find, like it walked 5 minutes ago, and now. No, it's not me.
Yeah, it's us.
To be the first in 18 months, yeah, it means something. So techniques also should be like just to be used to in-person contact. So I hope now it will work. And speaking about our country, what is very important for us, it's today's war. You all know that majority of news about Ukraine, and when we speak here about Ukraine, it's about Russian-Ukrainian war, which is going on from 2014. Russia occupied Crimea, part of Donbass, and this is a real war. More than 14,000 people died, and certainly for us it's terrible, and it is considered, yes, to be our weakness. But I want to see it under another angle. I believe that this is our strength, because when you have a challenge, You have only two variants of what will be next. Or you will become stronger, or you will disappear or die. And Ukraine did not disappear. Ukraine has not died. Ukraine lives, and Ukraine fought back from Russia, and we are defending our country, our soil, and we are developing. That means that this challenge will make us stronger. I believe in this. Now, you understand that Russia is one of the biggest military forces in the world, the biggest army in continental Europe, absolutely big budget. I cannot say budget of defense because it's a budget of aggression, which they're using, and it is not comparable with Ukraine. But still, we survived, and we struggle for our independence, and we are becoming stronger. And our army becomes stronger. Maybe you've heard the news about Afghanistan when it was latest events, very sad events, when the United States were leaving Afghanistan, and Ukrainian special service people were asked to escort Afghani who should be evacuated from Afghanistan, from Kabul, and they showed the high-class achievement to do this without any casualties, very strict, very straightforward, very accurate, and very resultive. That's not a miracle, and that's because we have an experience. Yes, that's a combat experience. Not many countries in the world today have combat experience against such army as Russian army, and our army has. So it means that our army is really strong with the combat experience, and the whole nation is coming through this, is becoming stronger. I want to tell you that one part of solutions, when I'm saying that Ukraine is a solution, even in this area. Today, I can tell you that Ukrainian military people, servicemen, are giving lectures to American colleagues and sharing their experience, because our experience in cyber war, in propaganda war, is very significant and something really important. So that's, for example, of the way where Ukraine can be a solution. Ukraine as a part of former Soviet Union, that's very important part of our identity yesterday and of our future and of our strategy as it should be, as I believe in this. It means that, yes, we are for several centuries part of Russian Empire. Ukraine was divided, part was in Polish, under Polish kingdom, then Austro-Hungarian Empire, most part was under Russian Empire and then Soviet Union. And today, being independent, Ukraine was, in former Soviet Union, the second biggest republic after Russia. So Russia was the biggest one, but the second one was Ukraine. And the difference was not so big. So the population of Russia and population of Ukraine is 3-to-1. So it means that Ukraine was really important part. And elites from Ukraine were ruling Soviet Union, Dnipropetrovsk clan, like it was called, Brezhnev, Khrushchev. Khrushchev was leader of communistic Ukraine before becoming a leader of the USSR. Then Brezhnev worked in Dnipropetrovsk, and then he was the leader of USSR. So Ukraine now is becoming like a second pole in the post-Soviet area. It means that we have a Russia, certainly, and but it's an autocracy. We understand what is Russia today. By the way, I just want to, some interesting story. I came to New York on Saturday, and I came to Metropolitan Opera. There was a Turandot Puccini, and by the Ukrainian Cymbaluk from Odessa, like me, was singing there. And by the way, he's still singing, so you have a possibility to come if you will have a time. And they're interesting. So this opera is 100 years old, and one of personage in this opera is a Chinese executor And what is his name? His name is Putin Power. So it's Putin Power in Puccini's Turandot. So that's about art and yeah, some predictions. And I think that Putin is going this way to become a Chinese executor without word and servant. But that's another story. So Russia is a autocratic pole for this area, and all autocratic regimes are looking for Russia like on their elder brother, like it was said in former Soviet Union. But Ukraine became the second pole, the democratic pole. For those who are watching, for example, I met in Washington with representatives of Russian opposition, Free Russian Foundation, others, and they're looking at Ukraine as an example of democracy, as an example of open society, of developing society, and that's very important for them. Belarus. Another story, you know, what awful things are now happening in Belarus. People are killed, people are in prison, and Lukashenko is like absolute dictator, even I can say a very bad type of dictator. And but free Belarus society, they're watching at Ukraine as an example, as the chance that they can change the situation, that they can change their country. The same story about a number of other countries. It means that Ukraine should be an answer. So could be post-Soviet area democratic? And the answer of Ukraine, yes, it could. Yes, we can. That's true. And our example is extremely important. I think that Central Asian, for example, Central Asian countries, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, these countries are really watching at Ukraine because we were in the same cultural code in the former Soviet Union. A lot of their representatives and people there who rule these countries now, or their business elites, they started in Ukrainian universities. They know and we're speaking the same language, and we can influence them. We can be example for them. And these countries are between China and Russian Federation. So it means that they really need some example, and Ukraine can be this example. And I'm sure that we need to be more active at that part of the world. So again, Ukraine is a solution for development of this territory, and Russia itself. That's one of the biggest challenges in the world today, autocratic Russia, the biggest country, nuclear potential, nuclear weapon, very big army. But what is the way to change Russia? How West can change Russia? Putin made everything that from inside the country you cannot do anything. All the organizations, foundations are expelled from Russia. They couldn't work there. They couldn't operate there. Their legislation is very strict against them. So it means that to do something inside the country is very difficult. But Ukraine is a possibility to show Russian people that country can be free, that people can be free, that people can be successful at the same time. Because when you will tell them, oh, look at Poles, or look at Czech people, Russians will tell you, okay, Poles are very different from us, Czech people, they are very different from us. But then when you will tell them, but look at Ukrainians, they couldn't tell this. They couldn't say, oh, they are very different. No, because they understand we have the common historical heritage, a lot of common in culture. Ukrainians, almost all Ukrainians speak Russian. Russian understand Ukrainian language. I mean, speak Russian, not like the first language, but also speak Russian. Some as the first language, some as the second, but almost everybody speaks Russian. And Russians understand Ukrainian. And for Russians, Kiev, it is called Мать городов русских. It's like a mother of Russian cities, like it was said in Chronicles, Slavonian Chronicles. And really everything, all the civilization came to this part of the world through Kiev. Kiev was the center of baptization, of Christianity. Kiev was the center of education. Kiev was the center of everything, which is now like a heritage of Russian empire and Russia, modern Russia, like Putin it shows it. So it means that if we want to change Russia, our aim is to make Ukraine successful. It's one of the best scenarios. Just successful Ukraine will influence Russia and Russian people in very, very straightforward and strong way. So when we are speaking about all this region, starting from the Pacific Ocean, just to Baltic Sea, that all this giant area can be influenced through Ukraine and with Ukraine. And I believe that is extremely important. About Belarus, I am a chair of for Democratic Belarus caucus in Ukrainian Parliament. And that was one of topics of my visit to United States, which is now coming to the end. And I want to tell you that in this situation around Belarus, you can see how I believe it will work in future, the cooperation, the unions in our territory, in our area. What do I mean? Such caucuses for Democratic Belarus, they existed only in 3 parliaments before. So it was Ukraine, Lithuania, and Poland. It's clear that it's a kind of neighbor countries for which it is very important. But now the 4th caucus in the world appeared in US Congress. So we now see that there are 4 such caucuses. It's Ukraine, Lithuania, Poland, and the United States. And I feel, and I'm very happy about this, because I believe in this Baltic Black Sea cooperation, and with as a big ally of the United States. So that's what I see. We have also interesting, history. There was a great duchy of Lithuania, which was Lithuania, Poland, and Ukraine, and part of modern Russia. That was its territory. So, and it's very interesting history. The name was, we call it Great Duchy of Lithuania, but the name of the country itself at that medieval times, it was Great Duchy of Lithuania, Žemaitija, and Rus. And Rus, it was part of it's Belarus and Ukrainians, modern Belarus and Ukrainians. So even today, when we are trying to help Belarus people to become free and the country to really stay independent, because now it's a big threat to Belarus from Putin, I call it hybrid Anschluss, what's going on, because they like a hybrid war, and like Anschluss that we saw in 30s, that's absolutely the same what we can see now, what's happening with Belarus. And when we struggled for free Belarus, we united our efforts, these 3 countries, Poland, Lithuania, Ukraine, and with, as an ally, United States. And I believe that this something means. We have common problems and common goals, these countries. We understand what Russia is. As a member of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, I can tell you that sometimes it is hard to explain to Spanish, to Italian, what's the threat from Russia. But when you're speaking with Estonian, Latvian, Lithuanian, Polish people, Hungarian, Czech, they absolutely understand everything. Like, you don't need to say no word, because they know what the threat could be. Because Russian tanks were in Prague, in Budapest, in Poland, in just recently in Baltic countries, in Georgia, in Moldova, and unfortunately they are still in Moldova, like they are still in Ukraine, and in de facto is still in Georgia. And so these countries understand what is the threat. These countries have the common heritage. These countries have a lot of common in culture. So these countries, when we're speaking about axis west to east, I think we need now to speak about axis from north to south. And that is that part what I'm speaking now. You can see it on the map. this Baltic Black Sea Union, as I see it, and unification of our efforts, what countries can be involved. And Georgia is a little bit here, so it's not on the map, but Georgia should be inside this story, I'm sure, about this. And altogether, these countries will have more than 100 million people. Population. That's a huge population. That's comparable to Russian Federation already. And strong cooperation between these countries can be the answer to the threat which we now have from East, and can be the answer even for future when the threat from East can change a little or seriously maybe to in other countries, but still this can be the very strong axis which can work together with the United States and Western world to move our countries forward. So that's what I want to stress your attention. I believe that that's important. It's not, I'm not the first person in history who is speaking about this. It was Józef Pilsudski in Poland speaking about this. It is a lot of historical things, but I believe that now we need to do more. By the way, next month, in the beginning of December, there will be a common interparliamentary assembly going on in Warsaw between Ukraine and Poland and Lithuania. So you see that these communications are becoming stronger and stronger, and I believe that that can be one of the answers. Once again, it's about the difference between Western European countries and Eastern European countries, and why I think Baltic Black Sea Union is important. That's something about Central Asia countries, which we already were speaking about, and you clearly see that that's region between China and Russian Federation. That is really also extremely important region, which quite difficult to work with now. And as I spoke, I believe Ukraine can help in this. So, as you see, in number of issues, Ukraine is very important part of solutions, not of the problems. Let's go forward. Military and political alliances with the United States. You know about the strategy of Admiral and geopolitist Mahan, and it's about dominance in the sea. And certainly Ukraine is a key part of Black Sea region. The biggest city of Black Sea region is Odessa, my native city. It's 1 million people. Istanbul, we cannot say that it is like definitely Black Sea. So the biggest city is Odessa. And without Ukraine, control, you cannot speak about control. In this extremely important, both from historical point of view and today's strategy point of view, part of the world. Turkey, Russian Federation, Caucasus and European Union countries, and in middle of the West of all these, Ukraine with our potential, and we can be very important ally of the United States. Yes, NATO. As one of our achievements during last years, it's the understanding that Ukraine wants to be part of European Union and part of NATO, and majority of population now support it. That's very important for us. Unfortunately, we understand that tomorrow, or in 1 year, or in 2 years, we will not be part of NATO, because of many reasons, political reasons and others, but still it is the fact. And it means for me that we should try to find another ways how we can cooperate with the United States in military way or two, and how can we be allies. There is a status of major non-NATO ally of the United States. A number of countries has this status. There is a discussion in Ukraine whether we need it or not. Some people say, oh, that will mean that we are not ready to fight for our just NATO membership, and some countries will say, oh, they have the status, no more for them. Others, and me included, are saying that we cannot wait. We need to answer on the challenges in our security today, and we need stronger cooperation with the United States today. And and we shouldn't wait. During our meeting in Washington, we met with the Ukrainian caucus, and there were Representative Andy Harris, who said it was him who started this conversation, who said, guys, take this status, move to it. I believe that he is right, and we need to go and to obtain this status and to become closer to the United States. And that is important for Ukraine, definitely. But that is important for United States too. Because strong allies, that's something where you can count on, and Ukraine can be the strong ally, and our army can be the strong ally. And we spoke at the beginning about that experience, also combat experience that we have. So that's also, I believe, is our future. One more issue. You all know OPEC. It's an organization of countries exporters of oil. They control together near 50% of the world oil production. And it's one of the reasons why Middle East part of the world is so important. When I was coming to you, I spoke with one very bright young man, and he said that I want to go to Middle East studies. Why? Because Middle East will be always important in international politics. If you want to know something about international politics and be a real expert, you should be expert in Middle East. One of the reasons is oil. But guys, look at the real world today. Oil will not be forever the main resource. And today the food and food security is more important than this issue raising. According to the data of United Nations, more than 800 million people are starving today, having not enough food in the world. Just imagine this number, it's very big. And it means that food security of the world is an issue. And what can be the answer? Once again, I think you can already say it without me, it's Ukraine. Why? Because from 30 to 50% of world grain export is together Ukraine and the United States. Corn, wheat, sunflower oil, Ukraine is #1, corn is #3, wheat, it depends from year to year, but we are in top 5 countries in the world with agricultural export, and together with the United States, we give from 30 to 50% of world export of food. Of extremely important issue. And I think that is the point where Ukraine and the United States should cooperate more. And yes, use it as a leverage too. Because if the oil leverage, gas leverage is used against Ukraine, against other countries, energy leverage, why we couldn't use our leverage, at least for defending ourselves, at least for developing agriculture, at least for understanding that we are working together. And I believe that is a so big area for our cooperation. And Ukrainian production of food will only increase, because even now we have in different estimations, but 30–40% less number of tons from hectare than our other countries, for example, the Netherlands. But Ukrainian soil is much more productive. And so our numbers will only be higher from year to year. So our place in this world top 5 will only go up and up. And it means that we need to use it, and we could work together with the United States around this. And just think about what countries are dependent from food. That's China, that's Middle East countries. So that's the countries which are today in the focus. And countries with which we can speak also based on our position in this area. And I believe that is very important. That's some numbers. You can see that #1 here, #2 here, #3, 4 here, and with everything from honey to grain, from apple concentrate to walnuts. And it's making me nuts, yes, to say that we are not using it. Yes, we need to use it. I'm sure about this. Once again, This is an idea. Certainly, we shouldn't call it a pact because there are many issues around this, and some can say about cartel things and so on. But the idea is that we should unite our possibilities in order to become stronger, and to give solutions. So I can speak a lot of time more, but I want to give the possibility to you to give me your questions because it's extremely important. I want to summarize. I want to tell you that partly this joke that we were spoken at the beginning is not partly a main part of, if you have any problem, it's your fault. I believe in this. So it is our Ukrainian fault that we could not articulate our strategy and could not realize it. And that is very important. Certainly it's because of we are a young country and not enough experience, many challenges, problems, but we should find our strategy. We should articulate it, we should formulate it, and we should start using it. We should not say that we're not so big country and not so important, oh help us in this, oh help us in this. Even just this visit to Washington, I saw it by myself when we were speaking with American congressmen or American officials and saying to them what problems we had. Their eyes there, because the only thing that I saw were eyes under the others was under the mask, but their eyes were a little bit tired. Oh, again, but when they were speaking about possibilities and what we can do together, they're absolutely different to you, and they became interesting. Oh, let's speak about this. Oh, can you send more information about this? So that means that let us be proactive. Let us find our way, and let us propose it to Americans, to Europeans, and that will mean that we will be important for the world. Because I didn't tell today about space industry, which in Ukraine we have a great expertise of, IT industry, which we have a great experience in, and many other industries where Ukraine can be one of the leaders. I just mentioned several points. And there are much more these points. So we need this strategy. We need to say that Ukraine doesn't want to be just ordinary country. We can be leader of this area, leader of this region. It's absolutely real. We can be example. And if we will do this, that will mean that we will help to really solve a lot of problems which are today in today's world. So please be interested in Ukraine, watch over Ukraine, and welcome to Ukraine for those who are not Ukrainians here, and for those who are listening to us. I believe in the very big future of this country. It's sometimes good to be a bit underdog. To say, wow, we're not so much expecting from them, but we have a lot to propose to the world. The only thing is that we need to say about this vocally and to work, a lot of work, and we will destroy this wall between us and the world, between us and better future. I believe in this, and nobody will joke like this about Ukraine anymore, but I think Ukraine, when people will listen and hear the word Ukraine, they will be proud and they will think, oh, this is a very interesting country. 10, 20, 30 years ago, I couldn't believe that it can be so successful, so interesting, but they did it. So thank you very much. It was my pleasure to give this small talk, and I will be happy to answer questions. Thank you.